I got in the game much harder. Not only did I finish high school, I went to college. But I went to college not fully prepared, so I wound up dropping out. Went back to college after being married and was carrying a 3.7 GPA, 3.8 GPA. And I got a letter from the National Honor Society. And when I got that letter, I had to read it a couple times. And they said, sign this and send it back so we can put you in the National Honor Society. But I never did it. The reason why I never did it, because I felt like it wasn't for me. I didn't deserve that. Because remember, they said I had a learning disability. How you got a learning disability? You carrying a 3.8 GPA in college. You're really not that smart. Don't fill that out. You're not going to make that, right? And so that's how I was thinking with that. And even at that time, I didn't even recognize that them telling me that I had a learning disability still had a long-term effect on me, even in my late 20s. And so I'm saying this to you guys, that if any of you guys have been labeled to say that you have any type of disability, I need you today to throw that in the trash. Today, I need you to get rid of that. Because your only limitations in this life is the limitations that you look at every day, and that's you. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you see limitations, that's what you're going to get, limitations. But if you look at yourself in the mirror and you see something great, you see possibility, you see being able to do something without being stopped by anything or anybody, then that's you, right? So you got to remember that. You got to have a daily thing that you say or you think about yourself. I believe in mantras. Mantras is one of my biggest things. I saw this thing, right, with Puff. And Puff had just closed his deal. And when he closed the deal, he slammed the phone. He was like, I'm a savage! I was like, damn, that's me. Every day, that's how I get up now. That's my day. That's my mantra, right? Because you got to make sure that you believe it. See, you can't go out and accomplish anything if you don't believe in yourself. You can't become an entrepreneur and sell a product if you don't believe in it first. You have to make sure that you believe in it so when you sell it, they believe it, right? So you have to make sure that you do that and make sure that you understand what it is that you want. How many people actually been taught to actually set goals? Oh, y'all kind of cool. Every other time I ask that, I get like 3 hands, right? And so with setting those goals, you...
No, I should say we teach that.
Oh, y'all teach that? That's a good thing. That's a good thing, right? When setting those goals, you definitely have to run. The young lady that was up here, where'd she go? The young lady that was up here and said, everything that you went through and that you accomplished. Y'all think, what the most thing that was inspiring about you for me was the fact that you didn't give up, that you didn't tap out. See, most people in that situation would have tapped out because it's easy to tap out. It's easy to fail. Failure is like effortless. You could just give up and say, you know what, I can't do it. Plus they said I had a learning disability or I got ADHD. I can't do this. Let me tap out. It's the easiest thing. The hardest thing to do is to strive for success. Why? Because you're going to get kicked down, you're going to get beat up, and somebody's always going to have something to say, and you got to be able to push through. And the hardest thing is to continue to push through when you don't even think that you can do it. When you feel like you can't accomplish it, you have to keep pushing. But those people won't say that because a lot of times you ain't thinking about your team. Let me show you something. BJ, come here for a second. See, we as strong. We're only as strong as the people we surround ourselves with, right? So when this guy got up there to introduce me, I didn't think that he was actually going to read the paperwork, so I was a little shocked. I was kind of preparing myself. I was like, oh God, what are you about to say, right? But what I understand is you are as strong as the people you connect yourself to. And you have to remember that. The stronger you connect yourself to the people you connect yourself to, the better you are and the better possibilities you have. Because you know what happens? When I feel stressed out, when I feel like I can't win, I can pick up the phone and call him and say, yo, listen to this. What you think about this? How you feel? What you think I should do? Because this is my rock right here, right? When I can't be my own rock, this is my rock right here. So you got to make sure that you are conscious of the circle and the people you surround yourself with, right? And if you're not around people that's going to build you up every time, then you're around the wrong people. You are definitely around the wrong people. You're definitely around the wrong people. So here's the thing I recognize. If you grew up poor, it's not your fault. If you grew up on welfare, it's not your fault. If you grew up in the projects, that's not your fault. If you grew up like I did, with roaches, it's not your fault. I don't eat Raisin Bran to this day. No, y'all laughing. I'm serious. You ain't been traumatized till you pour your bowl of cereal and the raisin move. You like, what? But then you hungry, so you pump the roach out, pour the milk in, and keep moving. But you gotta remember, right? It's not your fault if you and your sibling had to share clothes. It's not your fault if you only had one pair of sneaks through the whole summer and you get that hole in the bottom of your sneak where your socks get dirty, so you gotta put a little cardboard right there to keep it from, I'm talking about myself, I don't know if any of y'all did that, but that's what you have to do, right? That's not your fault. None of that's your fault. Let me tell you, the only thing you are responsible for is your success. It's up to you to grind. It's up to you to put that work in. It's up to you to believe that you can get it done. It's up to you to keep staying up to get through it. It's up to you to make sure you associate yourself with the people that's doing something positive. It's up to you to make it through this program. I like the name of this program, Keys. Because you know what Keys, what does Keys recognize for you, right? It means it starts something up. Right? A key means that you opening up a door to something, right? A key means that when if you go buy a new car and they just gave you the key, you just got something fresh. You get a new apartment, a house, you just opened up to something else. So you in a program that's giving you keys to opportunities for life and success. And that young lady solidified it when she stood up there and said everything that she went through. I mean, how many people would have been in an apartment? Did you say he was in a hotel? A motel, that's even worse. He wasn't even in a hotel, he was in a motel, that's even worse, right? The roaches is bigger than those, right? So, and she still pushed through. But look at her payoff though. Her payoff is what it is. See, a lot of times we get caught up in the now. We get caught up in where we at right now, right? And you have to surround yourself with people that got the vision, that can see past where you at. Because if you get stuck in the where you at right now, I'm not supposed to be in front of you, nor am I supposed to be an author, nor am I supposed to be a speaker, nor am I supposed to be one that ran a bank and was responsible for over $68 million plus a staff. I had a learning disability. Remember, I can't learn. I'm a little dumb, right? Can't think like that. But I did it. So for any of you young people in here that can find an excuse to the reason why you can't, you're your excuse. Because you can only make up excuses because you choose to make up excuses, because everything in life is a choice. You decide whether or not you want it. How hungry are you? How hungry are you really? How bad do you really want it? Because sometimes going for success, the hardest part is getting there. There's a diagram that you can see where it has an iceberg. And on the top of the iceberg is success, which is the smallest part of the iceberg. But at the bottom of the iceberg, that's where everything that went through, the crying, the ready to tap out, the bruises, the heartache, the frustration, the headaches, everything. Yesterday I had a migraine headache all day, and I had to do a radio interview at 8:30. I had to push through that to do this interview. And I figured I wasn't even gonna make it here today, but I was gonna be here because I gave my word. You gotta be able to push through regardless of what the situation is. So you can't control some of the things that you were born into, but you can control how the rest of the story looks, right? You can control how the end of the story looks. You have to be conscious of your words. Every time I talk to young people, I say this about this. Now, y'all might not know the name of Biggie Smalls' first album, but I believe that words got power. You have to know that words are very powerful. So the name of Biggie Smalls, what was the name of Biggie Smalls' first album?
Ready to Die.
Say it again.
Ready to Die. Ready to Die.
A little louder. It was called Ready to Die. You know what the name of his second album was?
Life After.
Life After Death. So let me explain something to you. I believe that the universe delivers anything you ask for. You ask for it, the universe is going to deliver it to you. The universe has no time to decipher what you meant or what you mean. It's going to give you what you asked for. So he said, I was ready to die. So he felt a little bit of success, and he said, the next album was going to be Life After Death. He actually got murdered 2 weeks before the second album dropped. If you don't believe your words got power, I can't give you any other example that's going to resonate. Be conscious of the words you speak. Because the things that you put out there is what the universe will give you every time, time and time again, whether you believe it or not. But here's what I do know. Anytime I talk to young people, I say this. Out of everybody here in this crowd, maybe 15% of y'all are actually listening right now. And of that 15%, less than 10% of y'all want to take what I'm saying as word. And less than 2% of y'all want to act on anything that's being said today. It's sad, but it's true. You got to be the game changer of your game. How hard you want to play. How much work you want to put in. Right? I seen an interview with Kobe Bryant. And another NBA player came in and was practicing. So Kobe was practicing. So that NBA player stopped practicing, and he said 15 minutes later, Kobe was still practicing. So at the end of that game Kobe played, he dropped 40. And so that NBA player went to him and said, why was you still practicing? He said, because you was practicing. I was going to let you outdo me. I was going to outdo you. How much work you want to put in? Where do you really want to be? Because nobody and nothing in this life is going to be given to you. You're promised a couple of things in life. One of those things is heartache, struggle, and life kicking your butt all the time. That's what's going to happen. The weak fall, the strong stand back up, and they'll get knocked back down, and then the strong stand back up again. And they'll get knocked back down, and then the strong stand back up again. But the weak will fall prey. The weak will not want to get back up. The weak will find an excuse not to get back up. The weak will find a reason to say, I can't win because I keep losing. So you got to figure out what your excuses are and why. And if you really want to win. So if any of y'all out there have been labeled with any type of label in your education system, look at me. Don't look at me as, oh, he's trying to say, look at me. Look at me as saying possibility. Because you got to believe in your possibility. Had I not believed in my possibility, I could be home on the corner in the hood doing absolutely nothing. Because we all got choices. I hate when people make it seem like your hood is worse than my hood. It's ridiculous. The hood is the hood. Right? I'm from Philadelphia, I'm from Maryland and DC. What do you mean? The difference is what you make out of it. See, when people say the hood, I look at it this way. See, my hood, it made me resilient. My hood made me able to put me anywhere in this country and I can survive. I can maintain. I can get up and do what I need to do and I can find a way. Your hood is doing the same thing for you, whether you recognize it or not. Don't look at it all negative because you came up in the hood. You gotta push past it. Excuses are futile and they're easy to make. Everybody can make excuses why they can't. What is it that you really want to do? And that thing that you really want to do, go hard after it. Find it, do your research, look it up, see what you need to do. Know how many people you need to know that can connect you to find out that about getting to that goal. But go after your goals and go hard. Believe that you can, believe in your possibilities. Believe that nothing and nobody can stop you but God. So I hope some of y'all got some pens. If you don't, grab your cell phones real quick for me and get the note part of your cell phone out and write this down for me. Got a couple for you, just a little something. You crazy, Monica. So listen. So not only do I talk what I talk, but I practice what I talk. So I write down mantras. My mantras are some of the things that I do daily to believe in myself. Because a lot of times I feel tapped out and feel like I can't do it myself. So one of my mantras is, it's impossible to do extraordinary things while thinking ordinary thoughts. How ordinary are you? I know I'm not ordinary, so I do impossible things. Because I'm extraordinary. You are extraordinary, whether somebody told you or not. You are very extraordinary. That's why you're here. That's why you accomplished this goal. You are very extraordinary. So you have to believe in yourself. Right? So I got a couple more for you. One more. Crave success, breathe persistence, live relentlessly, and always believe in your possibilities. Always. Because see, here's the thing. This is what we forget every day. Every day that God blesses you to wake up, I just need you to do something when you wake up every morning. Take your right hand and put it right here. Because when you feel that heartbeat, that's possibility. Every beat is possibility. Every beat says you can get up and do something. Every beat says you have an opportunity to do something different that you didn't do the day before. Every beat means that you can create that thing that you thought you couldn't create because God has given you another chance to do it. That heartbeat is vicious, and you have to know that. So every morning when you feel like you can't, touch your heart and believe that you can, because that heartbeat is possibility. Every one of them is possibility. So know that. All right? So my time is almost up. So here's the one thing I do. Here's the one thing I do every time I talk to young people. So if you don't mind, can all the young people stand up for me real quick?
Nope.
So listen.
Too old.
Okay, how about everybody stand up then? So listen, and the fact that we got everybody standing up, I need to feel the build and rumble when we do this, right? Because I do this every time I speak because I believe in it. The thing about life is this: there's two most powerful words in this world that you can say that breathe life, and that's I am. I am is the most powerful two words that you can use, right? So right now, I just need you guys to repeat after me, but I want to feel it. Like we need to feel this thing rumble, right? Just right? So, are y'all ready? I am. Can't hear you. All right, y'all ready? I am. Possibility. I am. Creative. I am. God's child. I am. Unstoppable. And this is what I want to say to all the young people. If somebody didn't tell you yesterday, today, last week, or this morning that they love you, I love you. And thank you. Y'all take care.